What if the Mosasaurus never went extinct? There's a giant, vicious lizard monster lurking in the ocean. It's more massive than any creature that exists today. Say hello to the modern-day Mosasaurus. This creature went extinct 66 million years ago. But what if it evolved to live today? In this episode, we're going to look at the special traits the Mosasaurus would need in order to avoid extinction, and what kind of terrifying beast it would evolve into if it lived in the modern day. A world with modern-day Mosasaurus. The deadly power of the Mosasaurus would change everything. Instead of just shark attacks, stories of random Mosasaurus attacks would be in the news. This ambush predator might attack unsuspecting swimmers who ventured just a little too far away from shore. And it wouldn't just be the loss of a limb. No, the Mosasaurus is a deadly, opportunistic hunter that eats any prey that comes its way. It would hunt you down incredibly fast. Using a quick burst of energy, it would accelerate from 0 to 48 kilometers per hour, 30 miles per hour, in just a second. Mosasaurus hunting capabilities. Similar to a crocodile, which can suddenly lurch into action. If you were less than 30 meters, 98 feet away from this beast, it would be on you before you could even blink. Propelling it is a super powerful tail fin, just like a shark's. But this tail fin could put the Mosasaurus in jeopardy. In today's world, just like shark fin soup, Mosasaurus tail fin soup would be a specialty dish, sought after by humans who believe in traditional medicine. It wouldn't have any particular properties to make humans Superman-like, but the myth would persist. Now, given the might of the Mosasaurus, acquiring its tail fin would be a much more difficult feat. Humans could only get one if a Mosasaurus washed up dead on the shore. Hunting this creature would not be a viable option. If you were ambushed by the Mosasaurus, you'd find yourself caught in its massive double-hinged jaw. Rows of sharp teeth line every part of its mouth. These teeth aren't for chewing food. No, they're used for clamping down and holding prey in place. On that very first bite, the Mosasaurus can go right through their prey and kill it. After that, all that's left is for our modern-day Mosasaurus to swallow its victim whole. The double hinging of jaws means that they both work independently. Each time the jaw ratchets back, the prey gets pushed in several feet. A 6-foot-long sunbather? They'd be swallowed in just a couple of bites. Modern threats to the Mosasaurus. Think you've got a chance of slipping out once you're caught by those jaws? Yeah, unfortunately, that's not the case. To prevent wriggling prey from escaping, the Mosasaurus has a third row of teeth that line the upper jaw. This is just a taste of the Mosasaurus's incredible power. The evolution of Mosasaurus. Now, much like starting a new game, the deadly Mosasaurus had humble beginnings. The Mosasaurus journey starts with the Aegialosaurs. This was a family of monitor lizards who made their way from land and back to water. These lizards were the Mosasaurus's ancestors. They were much smaller, no more than 1.5 meters, 5 feet long. Over the next few million years during the Cretaceous period, these little guys underwent a rapid evolution, an evolution that spawned about 40 different species of mosasaur, and one in particular emerged much bigger and badder. The Mosasaurus hoffmanni, commonly referred to as the Mosasaurus, was the biggest and most ferocious of these species. This creature was 9 to 15 meters, 30 to 50 feet in length. That's even longer than the T-Rex. It lived in oceans everywhere around Earth. It would slither around with its long, streamlined body, and its legs were extremely powerful. They transformed into whale-like flippers that would help with swimming and provide stability. As the Mosasaurus evolved and became bigger, older apex predators called ichthyosaurs went extinct, allowing the Mosasaurus to become even more dominant. Mosasaurus as an apex predator. Over the 25 million years that Mosasaurus lived on Earth, they evolved into truly terrifying creatures. They ate sharks, dolphins, sea turtles, and any other creature they could sink their teeth into. They'd even eat their own species. Yeah, the Mosasaurus was a ruthless cannibal when the opportunity was presented. In fact, one mosasaur fossil was discovered with 3 mosasaur skulls inside of it. Today, we puny humans would be just a light snack for the Mosasaurus. To satisfy its voracious appetite, it would go after today's biggest marine animals. Whales would be a favorite, and of course it would have no problem devouring one of its own kind. To do this, it would smash its opponent with its snout. This was a trait of one species of mosasaur, the Tylosaurus. Tylosaurus had bony growths protecting their front teeth and forming a key part of their reinforced snout. This bony snout would be a valuable trait that our modern-day Mosasaurus would likely have incorporated over multiple waves of evolution. Now, once it dealt a blow with its snout, the Mosasaurus would begin to devour any massive creature. A forked tongue that it used to smell its prey underwater. This is called chemoreception. The tongue flicks out, gathers odor molecules, and then delivers them to an organ in the mouth that detects prey. The same smelling organ was used to smell out a potential mate. Hunting and sensory abilities. Good luck to that potential mate. If it has the wrong smell, might become dinner instead. If the Mosasaurus were alive today, humans would be in some pretty big trouble. Imagine swimming in the ocean and you had a cut seeping a tiny bit of blood into the water. Well, the Mosasaurus would smell it and snatch you up in an instant. Deep-sea diving might just stop being a thing. How could you predict when the Mosasaurus would come and get you from the depths of the ocean? Now, the Mosasaurus that lived and died 66 million years ago didn't venture into deep ocean waters. But a Mosasaurus that evolves to survive extinction? Well, that one would. To understand why, we have to go back to the catastrophe that wiped out both the dinosaurs and the Mosasaurus and see how the Mosasaurus could have evolved with different traits in order to survive. Traits that would make it particularly deadly in our modern world. All right, let's go back to a time where something completely unexpected happened. Something that would change the course of history. An asteroid came hurtling out of the sky and crashed into the Yucatan Peninsula. An enormous crater was carved into Earth and tsunamis rose into the air. With the heat of the crash, rocks melted, throwing tiny molten particles into the air. This came back down to Earth in the form of hot, deadly shards. Any Mosasaurus poking its head out of the shallow water would have been shredded instantly. A cloud of ash enveloping Earth caused a decade-long impact winter, killing off the majority of plants and animals. Sulfuric acid rained down on the oceans and 90% of phytoplankton went extinct. In the oceans, the marine ecosystem collapsed. 75% of marine animals died out. This was a major problem for Mosasaurus as their food source was disappearing. But there still was some food out there, mostly in the form of new types of algae popping up. These became a food source for krill and shrimp. So could the Mosasaur use these as a food source? Well, unfortunately, no. Large predators need large prey, not krill. So the mighty Mosasaurus, which had ruled the oceans for the past 25 million years, went extinct. Could there have been another way for the Mosasaurus to survive? Well, let's look at what features the sea animals who did survive had. Sharks are particularly interesting because they've lived through many different extinctions. One of the reasons sharks were able to survive this extinction is that they don't just hunt in shallow water. Sharks have the ability to navigate to different parts of the water to find food, from warm waters to the depths of the ocean. Now, being partially warm-blooded helps sharks maintain a higher internal body temperature, allowing them to survive in really cold waters. They also have the ability to move through varying depths of water, increasing their options for food. The Mosasaurus was limited to hunting mostly shallow waters. It was a pretty good swimmer, but it didn't wander too far from the shoreline. Its strength was to make a quick burst of power to make a kill, rather than taking long swims. A Mosasaurus that evolved into a more tapered body and with paddles that were more fin-like would have fared better. This Mosasaurus would have been better able to migrate to different parts of the ocean, covering the waters at a steady pace. Scientists have evidence that the Mosasaurus was already warm-blooded. This will come in handy as its new swimming prowess takes it to different parts of the ocean. Because it's warm-blooded, it can maintain its internal body temperature even in cold water. Finally, this Mosasaurus will need a swim bladder, an adaptation that will borrow from deep-sea sharks. This bladder is a gas-filled sac that it can inflate or deflate whenever it likes, allowing it to roam different depths of the ocean. Okay, are we done? Oh no. We might need one more modification. We need to move the sinuses of the Mosasaurus to be external. So, like what whales and dolphins have. This is what enables them to dive deep. With external sinuses, there's less of a chance the Mosasaurus will suffer skull damage from too much compression at the lower depths. Alright, this iteration of the Mosasaurus would have easily survived this mass extinction event. It would have swum deep out into the ocean to hunt prey like sharks. These survival mechanisms would make the Mosasaurus a terror in all parts of the oceans today.